Hi everyone, I'm Amy with BookTubing Amy, and today I'm doing my 2018 YouTube and reading goals. So this year I will be doing the Under the Covers book blog reading challenge, and there are 3 levels to this book reading challenge. You can be the dabbler, which means you read 1 book per gene, or you can be the romance connoisseur, which means you read 3 books per gene, and you can be the romance guru, which means you read 5 books per subgene. So there are 13 types of subgenes that you have to complete, and I have the list right here. That's why I'm going to keep looking at it. So you got the paranormal romance, urban fantasy, young adult, new adult, erotic romance, science fiction, which can be either straight science fiction or romance science fiction, historical romance, steampunk, contemporary romance, romantic suspense, LGBT romance, fantasy, not to be confused with paranormal, and mystery, I have to get clarification on this part, but not romance focused, can be a cozy romance, or cozy mystery, or thriller. So I don't have books that I'm going to read for each of these genres. I find it best that if I just, whenever I finish a book in the one of these subgenres, I'm just going to go on to another. I don't ever really follow to-be-reads really easily, so let's hope this happens this year. I also plan to make 1 video a week, and this may be a little challenging, and you may get phone videos because I will be traveling to 3 different countries and at least 5 different states, so let's hope that happens. I also plan to read 75 books this year. Last year I planned to read 50 and I read 77. So I'm doing really well. So hopefully I can go 75 and maybe even better on that one. So I know I just said that I don't make to-be-reads, but I do have authors that I want to make sure I read this year. And this video is kind of like, keeping a data set of what I want to read. So I have new authors and old authors. By new authors, I mean I haven't read any of their books, and that just needs to be changed. So the new authors is Sophie Amoruso. She wrote Girl Boss. Yes, she wrote #GirlBoss. AJ Betts, and they wrote Zach and Mia. That is actually a video, a movie on a website platform. I'll put the link down below. I think it's 07, I don't know what it is. I'll put the link down below, you'll see it. Kay Bromberg, and she wrote the Driven series, the New Player series, and Everyday Heroes, and that's also a new series she has coming out. I think the first book is coming out, and I already have it on my huge Kindle haul. My next video will probably be my new Kindle rules for 2018. It's on my mirror. There's about 6 rules. It's going to be interesting. I also want to read Alice Clayton's series, and I feel really bad for not having read any of her books, considering the number of times I have met her. Actually, funny story. When I first met her, she said, okay, so I was without my glasses, and that was, I want to say like 5 years ago? It was at least 3. I know it was at least 3. I got lipstick on this thing. At least 3 years ago, and when she met me, she's like, oh my gosh, you're like 17, and I was not. I was at least 20. It was just funny, so. And every time I meet her, she makes some comment of that, and it's just awesome. Anyway, I feel really bad for not having read any of her series. She writes the Cocktail series, the Redhead series, and I feel like I should read that. And the Hudson Valley series, as well as the Broads Aboard. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but she writes that series as well. And I also want to read Helena Hunting. I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. She writes the Puck series, the Clipped Wings series, and the Shacking Up series. All of these covers are beautiful. The Shacking Up are okay covers, but I definitely love the Puck series. I am a big hockey fan, so I have to read this. Hopefully next year. That's my goal. I also plan to read Sophia Jackson and the Pound of Flesh series. And I also plan to read Christina Lauren. These are another authors, or co-author, that I have met many times, and I have not read any of their books. I feel so bad for them. They write the Beautiful Bastards series and the Wild Season. I have both of these series. Most of these authors that I'm mentioning today, I have the next 2 or 3 books to actually start it. So I feel really bad for not reading any of these. I also plan to read Jenny Lawson. I'm gonna go with Lawson. Let's Pretend This Never Happened and Furiously Happy. It's an interesting series. I have a lot of friends that suffer from anxiety, so I would like to see more of their perspective on the world. So, and I know she suffers from that, so I'm really excited to read that. I also plan to read Amy Poehler's Yes Please, and I just love her. She's awesome. I actually got a little Funko Pop of her when she was Leslie Knope. I would like to think I'm just like Leslie Knope. I know I'm not, but I'm striving to be just like Leslie Knope. That's my goal. And the last new author that I would like to read is K.A. Tucker, and she writes the 10 Tiny Breaths series and the Burring Underwater, I cannot say the word, and the Casual Enchantment. Do not have the Casual Enchantment. I think I have the first book in the series, but I have most of the other books in their other series, so I gotta read her books this year. So the old authors that I plan to read this year is Tony Aleo. You know, she writes amazing hockey series. She writes the Assassin series. She writes, oh god, I'm gonna butcher this name, Bellevue? Yep, butcher the name. Bullies, and she writes the Taking Risks series. I have to read her books this year. I just have to. She's an awesome person. She's been on my channel before, link below, but I have to read her books this year. I also want to read Jim Butcher's books this year. I'm hoping that'll take care of the science fiction requirements, so I'm hoping that can be done. But he writes the Dresden Files, which would be the science fiction requirement, and the Codex Illyria, I think that's right. That would fit under fantasy. I don't have those books in that series, but oh well. I have tons of other fantasy books that I can read. And he writes the Cinder Spires series, and I do have the first book, and that would fit under the steampunk, so I could knock out a few, but his books are not skinny. They are fat books, especially his Cinder Spirit series. I'll put the name right here because I cannot say it. That series is like this thick, so, but it's steampunk and it's written by Jim Butcher, so how can I not read it? I also would like to read one of Cassandra Clare's books. She writes the Mortal Instruments series and the Infernal Devices series. She also has a new series out that's a continuation of the Mortal Instruments. So I actually got one of her, the pretty edition, the 10th anniversary. It's been 10 years! That does not make sense, of when the City of Bones came out. And it has beautiful pictures. I don't have to read this one, but I would like to read a book in the Mortal Instruments series. It's just so pretty. So I would like to read that as well. That's my goal. That would be lovely. I also would like to read my favorite author ever, Kresley Cole. Oh my gosh, I love her books. And I don't think I read one in 2017, which is shocking to me. I want to read one of her, like, Immortals After Dark series. I know she has a new one coming out every year, so I'm excited to read that. She also writes the Arcana Chronicles. I have the first couple books in that series. I read part of one, I didn't finish it. I don't know, maybe I just had it with a bad time. A lot of books I don't finish doesn't mean I will never pick them up. It's just I got bored with them at that time, so I switched to another book, and I usually come back to them. And she also writes the Game Maker series, and that's one of the erotic romances. I don't think I've read the third book, so that could pass for an erotic romance. And she writes the put the name right here, Macquarie Brothers. This is a historical romance, so I could knock out a couple of the Under the Covers book blog challenges with this author. And you cannot have rereads. I just realized that you cannot have rereads on the challenge. So I usually don't reread books, so that's not a big issue for me. I also plan to read T.M. Frazier. She is an amazing author. She wrote the King series. That's the author I loved and found her on. She also writes The Dark Light of Day and The Outskirts Duet. I think I have all of her books. I think I may be missing one or two. No, I'm pretty sure I have them all. There's some authors that I ought to buy, unless they have a million series that I just wait hope to catch up. But I usually have 3 or 4 books in their series. I also plan to read one of Cambria's Herbert. I know I butchered that first name. She writes the hashtag series, and I recently found this, and they have a video of it on YouTube of the trailer for it. It is flippin' amazing series. I bought like 15 books. I've read the first 3 in the hashtag series. I bought 15 books of all of her other series, so I think I don't have the Amnesia series. I think I don't have that one, and I don't have the one with the Grim Reaper. I think that's the Grim Reaper. Anyway, I'll put a picture here of what series I'm talking about. So she writes the hashtag series. If you haven't picked up hashtag nerd, as of today when I'm filming this, January 1st, 2018, it is free, and they have it. I bought it like 3 or 4 days before it became free, but who cares? And they have it on Kindle Unlimited. All of her books are on Kindle Unlimited, so you should definitely check it out if you have Kindle Unlimited. So anyway, she writes the hashtag series, the Take It Off series, the Gear Shark, which is a continuation of the hashtag series, and the Heaven or it's not Heaven, it's Hell of It. I'll put a name right here as well. And the Emrys series, I'll put a name right here as well. So I really want to read some more of her books next year because I am hashtag in love with the hashtag series. Oh my god, it's amazing. I also plan to read Colleen Hoover. I didn't read Colleen Hoover in 2017, excuse me. She is best known for Slammed and Hopeless. She doesn't have really a whole lot of series, she just has 1 books. So I have most of her books, I just haven't read most of her books. So hope to read one of them next year, or this year I guess. I also plan to read Darna, I'm going to butcher these names, Darna Jones, I know, so sorry. She writes the Charlie Davidson series. I think it's a really significant series now. And she writes the Dark Light series. And I don't think I have any of the Dark Light series, but I have Charlie Davidson, and it's a really cool mystery, so that could actually fit for the mystery romance. So I hope to read that this year. I also plan to read Beck McAllister's this year. She will fit a lot of the steampunk requirements. I don't think she writes any other series, genre actually. Anyway, so she writes the London steampunk, she writes Dark Arts steampunk. Burning Lands, I haven't read, I think I have the first book of that, but I don't know if it's steampunk. I think it's steampunk. I don't know. I also plan to read Cameron Marie Moning's book, the Fever series, this year. She also writes the Highlander series. I want to read that because the Fever series takes place in Dublin, Ireland. And guess where I'm going this year? Oh yes. So I'm going to Dublin, Ireland this year, so I'm super excited. So I have to read the series. I mean, I gotta be careful when I go over there. I have to know what to watch out for. Anyway, so I hope to read that this year. I also plan to read Katie Regeneri's series this year. She writes Blueberry Lane, and she writes Modern Fairy Tale, and she writes English Brothers, and I think she writes a couple other series as well. I met her once, and she's awesome, and I read her first book. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of the title, but I'll put a picture right here of the first book I read from her. It was amazing. It was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I like Beauty and the Beast retelling. I would more prefer a Rapunzel retelling. Actually, she created that last year in December. Can't believe it. I can say that. That was like yesterday. Anyway, so I really want to read that series, or at least the Rapunzel one, because that's my favorite series, my favorite Disney movie. I also plan to read something by Nalini Singh. She writes the Side Changeling series, she writes the Guild Hunter series, and the Rock Kiss series. She's just, I don't know, I always see her putting out like a whole lot of books per year. Anyway, I'm excited to read one of them this year because I don't think I read any of them in 2017. So hopefully that'll happen this year. I also plan to read something by J.R. Ward this year. I am ashamed that I'm so behind on that series, especially since I said I was going to read The Beast as soon as it came out. And it has been a significant time since it came out, and I still have not read it. I feel so ashamed. I feel so sad about that. But I'm going to read it this year. I've decided this year is going to be a great year, and I'm going to read it. I have a feeling I'm going to be really depressed when I read it, because if you look at the cover, it's not the happiest cover. It's beautiful, but I'm like, if someone dies, I'm gonna be so beyond mad. Just the two main characters. One of the two main characters die. I'm gonna be beyond mad. So I hope that doesn't happen. I'm in that torn place between wanting to read it, but if something happens, I don't know what. It's just Anyway, so I hope to read that. She also writes the Fallen Angels series and the Legacy and Bourbon Kings. I have the first couple books in all those series, so hopefully I'll read one of those. I also plan to read Aaron Watt's series, The Royals, and she has a few extra books. I plan to read one of those this year. I read the first 2 or 3 books of the Fallen series, or the Royal series, excuse me, and it is awesome. So I wish I had like multiple pair of eyes to read and more than once, but I have a full year, so hopefully this all happens. So the final author I plan to read this year is Meg Cabot. She writes so many series. She writes 12 series, but she's mostly known for the Princess Diaries series and The Mediator and Heather Wells. I plan to read Princess Diaries was okay for me, but I loved The Mediator series, so I have the first 3 books, and I plan to. I would reread them all. Oh, this would be a challenge. So I would have to read her last book on the new spin-off series that still technically was. I'll put a picture right here. You'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I plan to read that this year, but I'm excited to read all these authors this year. It's going to be a full year, so I'm traveling so much with the 3 countries and at least 5 different states, so I'll have a lot of plane time. Let me put it that way. So I look forward to reading in this year, and hopefully you will follow me this year. If you haven't subscribed to me before, please subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I hopefully will I think the next video is either going to be a book haul or a review of the hashtag series. I don't know which one. I haven't filmed it yet, so who knows? But you will see me next week on Friday or Saturday. So hope you're having a great day. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you next Thursday or Friday. And I hope you have a great 2018, and it's going to be a great year. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and I will see you next week. And as always, go find your inner reader. See ya!